everyone, welcome to None Such Farm. I'm Meredith. These are 25 pounds of beets that my friend Jonah gave me, and he told me yesterday, if I mention his name, he gets royalties if this video goes viral. So let's make it go viral. But today I have two of these. So I have 50 pounds of beets, thanks to Jonah, and I am going to be making pickled beets, canning them, and making just plain beets. Pickled beets you can water bath can, and the regular beets you have to pressure can because there's no acid. So I'm going to show you today how to make a universal brine. I use it for pickling carrots and cucumbers. It's really good. And that's our plan for the day. That's our canning for the day. So stay tuned. Okay, so I've got 2 pots of water boiling here. These beets are really clean, so I'm not even going to clean them. What I want to do is I want to boil these to get the skin tender so they'll be easier to peel. And if you've ever processed beets before, they are a pain to peel. So I don't have a time because each beet is different depending on the size of it. So I'm just going to keep testing them with a fork or a knife. So when you do this, just be really careful. This water's hot. Be careful putting these beets in. Now I have my sink filled with cold water. I didn't put ice water in there, just cold water is fine. So when these are done, when they start to get tender, I will drop them in the sink, then I'll start my next batch. So what I do, and I do the same with my tomatoes, is after I drop them in the sink, I don't touch them until I get the sink full. I kind of like this part I do first, then I work onto that part, then I work onto chopping. I like my beets quartered or like in chunks instead of sliced. I don't know, I just for some reason like that better. Welcome back. So I told you I was gonna boil them all first and then do it step by step. Boil them all first, put them in the sink, then skin them all first, and I got bored in between. It takes about half an hour to boil them enough that you can get the skins off. So I'm going to show you how I get my skins off. This is the easiest way I've found. You can use a paring knife and peel them, but this is so much easier. These are oven mitts that I got off Pampered Chef, and if you can see, they've got little nubs on them. These work amazing. I do have a little slice in one of them, so I am getting water in this, but that's all right. So all I do is I put it in the water and rub it around with these gloves. I mean, it doesn't get it off perfect, but I can go through really simply and just pick off any little skin that's still hanging there. The ends, I cut the ends off. But wow, this works so nicely. See, I mean, I don't know if you can see this, but it's all peeled except for the top part where the leaves grow out of. And speaking of that, I do want to tell you, if you grow beets or if you're canning beets and you get them with the leaves on them, don't cut that all off. You want to leave that root before you boil them, because it's not a root. The whole thing is a root, but this nub right here, don't cut that off before you boil it, because that's where all your nutrients are. And if you cut that off, they're just going to boil right out of it. You'll see all the color will come out. Just leave that on and take it off after you boil. This is so easy. So let's take a minute to talk about canning jars. I reuse some of my jars. As you can see, the paper is still on it. It's not going to hurt it. I have this big pickle jar right here that I'll reuse. I feel comfortable reusing these with pickling, because if they don't seal, I can put them in my fridge and it'll last a long time in my fridge. Now, what you want to look for in these jars is they have to have the button on top, and they have to have these ridges. Do you see these ridges right here? That's going to hold the cover down. Now, last year I was doing pickles and I used this was an Alfredo sauce, and when I opened up my canner, all the lids were off it ruined the whole batch because this doesn't have those ridges that'll hold the lid down. So this is junk, and I'm gonna toss it. So you definitely want the ridges. You can see the ridges on this one here pretty clear. See these little bump outs. That'll hold the lid on the jar. Now, I won't use this for spaghetti sauce or anything like that, my broths or anything, because I don't want to take that chance that they won't seal. But so far, I have had great luck with these. Like I said, pickles, if they don't seal, I put them in my fridge. So we'll be back in a bit. So let's talk about these mitts again that I use to peel. I did find that if I took one off and used my dominant hand, I could like scrub a little bit better with my bare hand. It was a lot easier, and I have arthritis in my thumbs, so it did make it really easy. So if you guys can beets, this is such a huge investment. It's not huge. I think they're like $30 or something like that, but it's so worth it. And another thing that you'll notice is it's only taken that outer layer off. Now, if you had used a paring knife, you're getting some of the meat too. With those gloves, you don't lose anything. You get all of the meat. So like I had said earlier, I'm just gonna cut that root off. I call it a root. The whole thing is a root. And then I cube my beets up like about this size. I just like them cubed. They're so much better. And I'm wearing gloves because I don't want my hands to stain. I do have to go through and maybe trim a little bit here and there. But I mean, really, there's it was a no-brainer. I think it took me 15 minutes to peel 2 stock pots full of beets. And if you notice, I had to put my apron on. It got a little messy. Got quite messy, actually. Okay, so I am going to show you my process. Let's bring it down a little bit. Okay, so I got my jar. You want a funnel, definitely want a funnel. And I found that I really like the jars with the shoulders the best because I can really pack them in and they'll like hang out under that shoulder. You can stuff them right under that shoulder. So you want a half inch, an inch head space. Woo, got a wild one there. See, I can like really push them in there. Pack them in good. Just when you think you can't get any more in, you can. And that one will sit right down in there. I think that's about it. There's my beets. Oh, it's not focusing on you. Anyways, that's my beets. Okay, so we're gonna make the brine now, and I'm just using the pot that I cooked my, got a little floater in there. I'm just using the pot that I cooked my beets in. I just rinsed it out, it's fine. So this recipe, this brine, is so simple. And like I had said earlier in the video, I've used it for carrots and pickles, and it's so good. So the ingredients are water, vinegar, and sugar, and it's equal parts. So I have 6 cups of water. I'm going to put 6 cups of, I'm making a lot of brine. 6 cups of vinegar, and then I'm going to put in 6 cups of sugar. And then you put it on the stove and heat it up until your sugar dissolves completely. Possibly just bring it to a boil. Now there are recipes out there, and it makes they have like it almost is like cinnamony, nutmeggy kind of flavoring, but I like this. It's a simple pickled beet. It's not, it's not a thick syrup. So I like this, and I have a lot of people that have had my beets that really love them. So I'm going to stick to this recipe, and like I said, I use it for my carrots and other cucumbers too. So I'm going to get this boiling, and we'll come back and jar. Okay, so I am going to start canning now. I brought my Tadler lids out. I'm running really low on regular size lids. So I brought my Tadler lids out to show you how to use those. And like I had said before in another video, I wasn't a fan of them because I found that even months down the road, I was finding things becoming unsealed in my pantry, and I didn't like that. I'm going to try it with these though. It could have been my era, I don't know. But we're going to try it again. So I've got my jars here and I've got my brine. I'm going to kind of turn you down a little bit so you can see the process here. Let's see, where's my funnel? What do I do with my funnel? Oh, it's right here. Silly me. All right, let's start with a wide mouth. So with the Tadler lids, I have the rubber seals soaking in hot water. And I know you don't have to do that with regular lids. But I do that with the Tadler lids just because it softens them up a little bit. So I filled that up to the 1 inch headspace. I didn't want to poke my beets, but I see a big air pocket there. There we go. We got to wash the rim, remember? I sometimes forget to do this. Wash that really good. It's got a lot of beet stuff. See? We don't want to lose our jars due to beet stuff. Even the second round. Okay, so this is what the Tadler lids look like. They're plastic, they're reusable. And I believe that you can use these rings up to 15 times. So it's really good. You try to get them on nice and centered. Now the key is you put these on finger tight and then you go back a little bit. So that could have been my problem. I didn't go back on the last ones. And I am using my pressure canner because I am going to be pressure canning some of these beets, not the pickled beets, but the plain beets. So I figured, why am I bothering to bring up both sets of canners when I can hot water bath in my big canner? Now, I need to tell you, put in a disclaimer here, this is not USDA approved. So this is not considered safe canning, so you do you. I feel safe doing this, but you do you. I don't want you to do this and think that, oh, because Meredith Kane says it, it's okay. It's not. This is what they call rebel canning. Now, I have different size jars in my canner. Those aren't a quart. I don't think those are quite a quart. So when you have, and I could put some pints in there as well. So when you have different sizes in one canning process, you use the time for the largest jar. So if I had pints in there, I wouldn't go by the processing time of the pints. I would go by the processing time of the quarts. So pints for pickled beets is 10 minutes for pints and 15 minutes for quarts. So we're going for 15 minutes. Now when I make brines for making pickles and stuff, I always, sometimes if I don't make enough, I'll make another batch and then I have way too much. So I can the brine so I can use it for the next round of pickles. I think I have some bread and butter pickle brine down cellar in the pantry too. All jarred up. I can it like I would if there were pickles in there. Alrighty. That one fits right down in the center perfect. Let me take you on a little field trip. We'll take a look and see what it looks like in there. So we've got all the canners, the water's coming up. Oh, that fell right off my finger. It's a piece of a beet. The water is up above the jars, probably only about an inch, if that. I'm okay with that because they're not going to can for very long. So I have this set on high. I'm going to gently put the lid on. I'm just going to set you right here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm not securing this lid all the way. I am just going to drop it on like that. then I can hear it come up to a boil. If I would have put that on like that, I won't hear it boil. So I will just crack it a little bit, and that'll come up to a boil. We'll start our processing time when it comes up to a boil of 15 minutes. We'll be back. It's been a long day, but canning is almost done. I have 5 quarts left to do here. I just put in, so this is coming down to temp. These are regular beets, and I've got some in here. Got some pickled beets in here. I've got all of these going on in here. Yep, I got those all done. All of these have sealed. I won't know about the Tadler lids until tomorrow, but it's been a really good day of canning, and I'm glad that I got it all done. So that was 45 pounds because I gave my sister 10 pounds to can. So I canned 45 pounds of beets today, and I just made it with the brine because I ran out of sugar. I had just enough to make my brine. So I'm gonna have to get some more sugar tomorrow. So I'm all done for the day. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like my video, share my channel. I would really appreciate getting out there. Thank you. Bye-bye.